How are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to We Need to Talk. What a show, the show on a Friday. Joe Tomlinson is still living it up in Lanzarote, so I am here to slate you guys at home. Because today on Twitter, I asked for your opinions of the upcoming season. What are your thoughts going to be? What expectations do you have for players, managers, clubs, and where will they finish, and things like that. And so I've got your opinions, and I've now created a tier list, and I'm going to slate you on what you sent in. I mean, I say slate, you may also say something pretty good that I agree with, so we'll see. So our tiers today, we've got 5 of them. The best, the very best you can be. You're going to basically predict the future. What's the lotto numbers? Second best, likely. Obviously, our middle kind of average score is going to be possible. Then unlikely. And if I totally disagree with you and think you are an idiot, you're going in the section called You're an Idiot. Pretty simple, right? Let's get on with it. So our first one comes from David Hutchinson, and he said, neither City or Liverpool will win the title. It's a very, very punchy one to kick things off with. I don't think it's quite You're an Idiot, because, of course, there is always the possibility of a team doing a madness or a crazy thing to happen where a few stars get injured for Liverpool and Man City and another team has access or has an easier ride towards the Premier League. But I'll be honest, it's going to be one of City or Liverpool at the moment. They're just both so strong. They are very, very good. So I'm going to put this one in unlikely. I don't think it's strong enough to be You're an Idiot. Again, maybe we'll come back to it. But I think for now, it's an unlikely. Like, they've just both strengthened in areas. Obviously, Liverpool have lost Sadio Mane, but Man City are just getting better and better and better. And so I think they'll probably end up winning it. Our second one comes from Tegel Gendon. I think that's how you say your name, mate. And he said, Chelsea to finish outside of the top 4. Now, this, again, you're not an idiot. Like, there is a possibility. Other teams have strengthened. I think, obviously, Man City and Liverpool are going to be probably the top 2, unless something was to happen more so to Liverpool than Man City. But again, I do think Liverpool are very strong as well. I like what Arsenal have done. They've improved on their squad. They've got depth in. And so they finished 5th. And obviously, we wanted to challenge for the top 4. Spurs have obviously got very, very good as well with the depth that they've brought in and the players they've brought in. They're very much backing Conte. I think they're obviously going to be going for not just top 4, maybe possibly like 3rd, fighting for 2nd. I don't think they're going to get on a title charge. We'll get to that later on. And United, like, they've brought in Erik ten Hag. You know, I think he's obviously going to improve them in some regard. And so I think they'll probably be close to it as well. Leicester might get back. West Ham might improve, so on and so forth. And so it's not necessarily unlikely, because it is possible. It is possible. Chelsea have improved, but it's definitely not likely that Chelsea are going to finish outside of the top 4. Like, Chelsea still have a very strong team and have brought in fantastic players and still look like they're going to be doing so. But then, you know, with the way other teams have done, like, it's a possibility. Like, it's a possibility. If someone went to me, here's my top 6 and Chelsea are at 5th, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, you're nuts, depending on who they've got in that top 4. So, yeah, it is possible. Maybe like edging towards an unlikely possible kind of scenario, but Gendon, I'll let you have it. Why not? This one comes from one of the boys on the FD Discord. If you guys want to get involved, and the link is in the description, go over to there, join the Discord. Loads of things happen all the time, whether it's debates, whether it's a live stat wars that you can be involved in over on Discord. Get in the description and join them. It comes from Colm, and they've said West Ham 5th ahead of Arsenal and United. So obviously he's assuming that, I guess, it'll be a City Liverpool top 2, then a Chelsea Spurs as the other places, and West Ham in 5th. Again, not You're an Idiot, but I feel very unlikely. Like, it's not really that possible. I kind of mentioned previously, Arsenal have done very, very well in their signings and bringing in depth and bringing in a goal scorer or a striker at least. And then as for United, like, I just think they can't be any worse than last year, realistically. I've watched some highlights of their pre-season, and I don't believe in kind of taking pre-season too seriously, but you are starting to see some kind of shape, some sort of rhythm to the way they want to play their football. If they do and go and get Frankie de Jong in, then that's fantastic. But yeah, I don't know. And West Ham still really need that striker. Like, if West Ham went and got that Broha, or they go and get Samaka or one of those guys up top, like, it can definitely help them. But for now, unlikely. Ahoy Tom comes with our next one, and he's gone, Spurs will make a title challenge. He also goes on to speak about Havertz scoring more than Jesus, but I'm not doing that one. I'm just doing the first bit about Spurs making a title challenge. Look, I mentioned I like Spurs' business. I love Antonio Conte, to be quite honest. One of the best managers in the world, that's for sure. But they're in the Champions League. They're going to want to go far in the Champions League. They've brought in depth 100%. But I think it's so tough. So tough to put a full season title challenge on the likes of Liverpool and on the likes of Man City. You've kind of got to pick one and kind of stick with it. If it was if it was this Spurs side, this Conte side that didn't have European football like he did when he joined Chelsea, I could back it. I actually could back it. Obviously with Harry Kane and bringing it and Heung-min Son, but like I think it's probably unlikely. It could. I mean, it's not likely. Obviously, it's not lotto numbers. It's not an idiot, but it's like in between. It's one of these ones where it probably should sit in between the two. You know what? For you, Tom, mate. For you, let's say in this scenario, City have had a lot of injuries. Liverpool are really struggling without Mane. Sure, it's possible for Tottenham to have a title charge, with a lot of if, buts and maybes. Okay, so this one has two here. It comes from Siva, another huge fan of Football Daily. He's always sending things in. If you guys want to check us out again on the Discord, on Twitter, all of that stuff, the links are below. If you guys next time want to be involved in this kind of video, make sure you're following me on social media and Joe, because we'll do this kind of stuff as well throughout the season. And Siva said, Man United are winning it all and Martial is going to be top scorer. Firstly, Man United winning it all. You're an idiot. I like what Erik ten Hag may bring to United. Like, I think it's so early to predict anything like that for United. Like, sure, they might go far in the Europa League. They might win the League Cup. Like, they're not going to win the Premier League. I can almost guarantee that, to be honest. They're not going to really be close. Like if Man United make third place this season, I'll be shocked. I really will be. If I was a United fan, and let me know in the comments, I would be more than happy for a fifth place finish, but seeing an identity from Erik ten Hag and these players that he's bringing in and bringing through, like seeing the best out of, say, Jadon Sancho and a revival of Marcus Rashford. That would be fantastic. That I could maybe agree with more so, rather than United are winning it all, because I just don't think it's going to happen. And also, even though the section's called You're an Idiot, don't take it to heart. A bit of fun. And Martial is going to be top goal scorer. I mean, he started pre-season well, that's for sure. If you mean top goal scorer for Manchester United, then I could maybe fit that in the likely system. It looks like Ten Hag is enjoying him and liking the way he's playing at the moment. But if you mean for the Premier League, which feels like is what you mean, I'm going to have to go unlikely. You never know. Maybe he does have an unbelievable season and he does get, say, 21 goals, and the other boys like Mohamed Salah and Harry Kane have just had a mare. But yeah, unlikely for Premier League top goal scorer. Possibly likely for United top goal scorer, but I'm going to say you've meant Premier League. Jordan Dennis brings our next one. He mentions a bit about Man United. We've already dealt with them. But his next bit says, Haaland will score less than 15 goals. And this is an interesting one. This is an interesting one because obviously a lot has been spoken about Haaland and his injuries and what that brings to City. Obviously last season he missed a decent amount of games. But you've said just 15 goals here, which I'm going to have to take as in all competitions, which for me is extremely unlikely. Like, okay, you're maybe not an idiot, but for now, with Haaland the way he is and just that how many chances City are going to be making, he's definitely scoring more than 15. Rami brings on next one, and they've said Salah will finish as the top Premier League goal scorer. Straight away into likely. Don't think we have to spend too much time on this. His record speaks for itself. Logic India has the next one, and they've put a few there, but I've just gone for the bottom one. Timo Werner will score more than Haaland, Nunez, and Diaz. I mean, considering he's just recently come out and said that he could possibly leave the club because he wants to be playing more football elsewhere, I don't quite think it's going to be happening realistically, especially for Haaland, especially for Diaz. I don't know, unless maybe he's now just the starting like winger or striker for Chelsea over Kai Havertz. I just don't see it happening. So, you're an idiot. Ross Evans has our next one, and he's gone Arsenal 9th. I really enjoyed picking out this picture of Arteta. Extremely unlikely. Arsenal last season, you could have maybe had that as the prediction and people would have been a bit more like, I mean, maybe, possibly. But for now, like they surprised themselves with where they finished. I know Arsenal fans in the end maybe felt a little bit aggrieved, obviously not making the top four, obviously losing out to Spurs in the end. And that Newcastle game, the second to last one of the season, was unfortunate and was quite bad. But they'd made strides on where they were the previous season and unexpected strides, and then getting through more youth and seeing the rise of Saka, and obviously seeing Odegaard really start to shine. I've mentioned it a few times. I really like the project that's happening at Arsenal. I love the signings that they've made. It continues. The Zinchenko signing's fantastic as well. And so them finishing ninth to me is really unlikely. Like, they could possibly finish fifth again. It's a weird one with Arsenal because they could finish fifth again, but have had a better season because everyone else has also done better, have improved from the last season, but still not make top four. Again, Arsenal fans might be still a little bit aggrieved with that. But yeah, Arteta and Arsenal finishing ninth, unlikely. Dart Gaming has this one, and he said Richarlison will outscore Cristiano Ronaldo and Harry Kane this season. Is it harsh to put you in You're an Idiot? I think you're gonna have to, mate. Like, don't get me wrong. I could maybe there's a world he scores more than Cristiano Ronaldo, but he's not going to score more than Harry Kane. Harry Kane was ridiculous last season, where he just didn't score for half the year, and then just went on a mental run towards the second half of the year. If he has this full season where he is that he is fit, and he's also got so many better players now, the squad's improved so much more around him, like he's going to be getting better service, he's probably going to be providing better service. I think he's going to be absolutely fine, and like, I don't think Richarlison's going to be probably scoring more than, say, like 12, which is good for Richarlison, especially as the role that he's going to play, and maybe more as a backup striker. But Harry Kane is the man, and he would have to be out for a long time for something like this to happen, which could happen actually, given his record. So maybe you're going unlikely. Yeah, I think maybe I've been a little bit harsh. I think. So, yeah, you're in unlikely. Jevan has said, I think it's Jevan anyway, Chelsea will struggle to score more goals this season, even with the introduction of Sterling. This is mostly because I feel the team isn't direct enough when it comes to chance creation. I don't know what I was doing there. I've just became Cardi B, I think. So, don't know what I was doing. Weird. I think this goes in impossible, because it is possible that Chelsea still struggle to score goals. Like, they've brought in several signings for the past couple of windows and still struggled to score goals. 2 years ago, Jorginho was the top goal scorer in the Premier League. They then spent £100 million on a striker, and Mason Mount was the top goal scorer in the league with only 11. And so there is definitely a possibility this happens, especially based on recent seasons, and that's what you can go off. But I do personally feel like Raheem Sterling will come in, and a lot more goals will be scored throughout the team. I can understand what people believe, that Chelsea sometimes their chance creation is a little bit sloppy, especially against deep blocks. But I think someone like Raheem Sterling, it will actually help that out. And so, yeah, you can go in possible. And I feel like I've actually been a bit kind there as well, to be honest. I've spoken a lot about the top six, so it's good that Josh has said this. Wolves will go down. Relegation talk, an interesting one. I feel like this is unlikely. I didn't mind what Bruno Lage was doing last season in the end. Like, maybe the first half of the season, he maybe got overhyped. The second half of the season, he was probably a little bit underhyped, and in the end was actually absolutely fine. I don't think things go bad enough for him and the Wolves side that they would get relegated. I also think there's more than probably 4 or 5 teams that are worse than Wolves that could get relegated instead. Like Fulham, even though a couple of months ago I was quite excited for them to come into the Premier League. Now consider the Premier League's only like 2 weeks away, literally 2 weeks away today. They are looking very, very worrying if I was a Fulham fan. And so, yeah, as for Wolves, no, I could be confidently kind of saying like 14th. Realistically. This one comes from a great user. Bitch Boy has said Villa will finish above United. I have a soft spot for Villa. I've admitted this several times. I like Aston Villa. I always have. I've got a friend that supports Aston Villa. And so I've always kind of kept an eye out for them. And I don't think they're going to finish above United unless they have an incredible... Unless what I've been predicting now for the past 2 seasons happens and they absolutely smash it and Leon Bailey kills it and like Buendia absolutely has a ridiculous season. Danny Ings becomes super clinical. Watkins, Coutinho has the best year of his life. I don't think it's going to happen. Obviously, it's possible if things go tits up for United and then, you know, Aston Villa and Gerrard have a good season and United maybe finish 10th, which is a possibility for sure, but I don't believe it will happen. I think it will have to go in unlikely for now. I assume you're an Aston Villa fan, and so that's why you've got some confidence there. And fair play, like you definitely have players that if they go supernova could do that, but I just don't think it's probably going to happen. Amangasha. I hope I've got that right. I really do apologise. I'm so bad with names. I do try my best. I promise you. Leicester City FC fall from top half of the table and Brendan Rodgers leaves the club before January. There's a trend associated with Rodgers. I think the streak continues. You know what? This goes impossible. Leicester are in trouble at the moment. They've not made any signings off the top of my head. They may have made one. I can't quite remember. Defensively last year, they weren't great. Obviously, Fofana's coming back, which is massive news. But like, you know, Jamie Vardy is getting another year older. Daka, I guess, may have had a year now to settle and try and improve the squad. It is possible. And it's hard to predict with Leicester because obviously 2 seasons ago, or was it 3 seasons ago? I feel like 2 seasons ago, they had a fantastic year and they were battling for top 4. In fact, yes, it was 2 seasons ago. And then last year, completely different, a huge drop-off. And so maybe that trend does continue and Leicester do think, okay, we might have to move on from the Brendan Rodgers management. So there's definitely a possibility. I'm not going to put it in likely. Because I feel like you're putting a lot of pressure on that. But I'm happy with it, impossible. But our next one comes from Mrs. Arteta. And she went on a mad one here, but I'm just going to take the first bit because even that alone is crazy enough. Arsenal win the quadruple. It goes on to go Tuchel fired, Chelsea finish, a bunch more about, I think United get relegated, but I was like, I'm not going to include that stuff. But anyway, Arsenal win the treble straight away into you're an idiot. Where is it? There it is. It's just not going to happen, is it? You're saying that Arsenal are going to win the Europa League, League Cup, Premier League and FA Cup. Like, why am I even wasting time? Come on, not going to happen. H, this one comes from, it goes, check Decore at Palace to be one of the signings of the season. We've spoken a few times about Decore and this signing. We like it. We do like it indeed. I think for him to be one of the signings of the season, Palace in general as a team need to go above and beyond and maybe be challenging for that Europa League place for like him to be considered. So for that to happen, yeah, he's going to have to hope that someone like Elise and someone like Eze or Zaha or Odsonne Edouard, or probably a few of them to be honest, also overperform massively as well. But if that was to happen, there's definitely a possibility. Like, I think this can go impossible. I'm backing him. I like him. And so, yeah, there is a possibility he could be one of the signings of the season. Joe Dukes has this one, and he said, Nunez to score less than 10 in the Premier League. Okay, this might annoy Liverpool fans, but I want us to think logically here, right? There is a possibility, which is what you got to remember, possibility, he does score less than 10 in the Premier League. Also a possibility, he scores 18. I mean, Mane only just about got over 10 last season. And so if he's playing in Mane's minutes, which might also be shared between people like obviously Diaz, who's probably going to be starting, and if Nunez is playing through the middle, then he's also going to be sharing with Firmino. Understandable, he's going to dominate that. But then Jota as well, who if he's fit, might edge it. Obviously, a lot of money's been spent. We know Jurgen Klopp's not necessarily that bothered by that. He likes sharing things across. 10 in the Premier League as well is very specific. It's going impossible. There is a possibility, whereas others like Arteta finishing 9th, is unlikely. I feel like it's more possible for Nunez to not score 10 in the Prem than like Arsenal to finish 9th. This next one comes from a man who sat behind me. You might not see him. He's doing work for TalkSport because he left Football Daily. Sonny Snelling, and he said, Barcelona will still not have enough to go far in the Champions League. The rest of the elite teams are too strong. It's hard to predict the Champions League just yet. Obviously, the group stages haven't been drawn, and then once they've been drawn, you can then start to see like the knockout stage and things like that. So it's hard to predict any Champions League just yet. Very much you end up just saying like, yeah, Man City's a favourite. Liverpool's a favourite. Bayern Munich's a favourite. Real Madrid's a favourite. Barca have improved, I think, on their squad for sure. Like the 3 signings they brought in, bringing in Lewandowski, is definitely improved on their squad. So to not say they'll go, it depends what you count as far in the Champions League. Is far the quarterfinals? Semi. Oh, Barcelona will still not have enough to go far in there. I think again it just goes into like the elite teams are too strong. Now this edges here for likely and possible. Likely and possible. I mean, we don't know yet. We don't know what this Barcelona side is. This Barcelona side could now be ridiculous. And so I think I'm going to have to put it in possible. Because I feel harsh if I'm going too crazy and saying that. And I just know a lot of Barca fans will be out after me. And I know a lot of fans are questioning like how Barca got the finances and all this stuff. It's been dealt with a few times now. But I like the signings. I think it improves the squad in every area. If they lose Frankie de Jong, it does change maybe slightly. But I think it's definitely possible. I'm not going to put it likely. It's going possible. So this last one comes from Jordan. And he has said Jesus to be in the top 2 for the Premier League Golden Boot. Wow. I don't think you're an idiot. I mean, I guess it's a possibility. Like, if things go wrong and, like Harry Kane gets injured, Son is somehow injured, Haaland's injured. Like, there's a lot of... But there I'm going, like, there's a lot of ifs. Though I think there was one earlier that I also put a lot of ifs for and moved it up. Unlikely. To I'm sure every Arsenal fan's sadness. It's unlikely. I don't think it's going to happen. Like, if you were, like, maybe top 5... I could believe it. I think obviously Arsenal, I think, share a lot of their goals out anyway, and there's definitely a place where maybe Gabby Jesus reaches double figures for both goals and assists. But to reach the top 2, he's going to be having to be on like 20 plus realistically. And so, yeah, I don't think it's quite going to happen. I think it is unlikely. There's for sure a slither of a chance that it could happen and Arsenal go supernova and all the players are ridiculous and Gabby Jesus is just banging in everything. I've mentioned several times that I like the signing. But I don't think he's going to be getting the top 2 in the Golden Boot. So that's all the time we have for our tier list. Those are all the tweets that I got, or a bunch of the tweets that I got. I could have done a lot more, and this video could have been like an hour long. But let me know what you thought of the video. It felt like it was good fun to do. Thank you for sending in your opinions. If you guys would like to get involved next time, then put your opinions in the comments below. Maybe I'll do a part 2 if this does really well. In fact, if this video gets 8,000 likes... I'll do a part 2 and I'll get other people involved, or I'll get Pato involved. Maybe I'll get Niran, FNG involved, Joe when he's back from holiday, all of that stuff. I'll get a bunch of people involved to go over them. Unfortunately, none of you guys went in What's the Lotto numbers. You could not predict the future just yet. If one of you were like, Fulham get relegated, I probably would have put it in there. So sure. But maybe that's also because you guys like to be testing your predictions and have a bit of fun, which is also really, really good. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Again, get at me on Twitter with your predictions, all of that good stuff. Get them down below and I'll try and comment back to a few of them and maybe give you as well what tier it would have been in a reply in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching. 8,000 likes. Remember that. Subscribe to Football Daily and I'll see you later. I was going to do the peace thing. I'm really starting to cringe about it. So... have a good Friday. Bye.